analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the 5th day of February 2025. Thank you for supporting this podcast. Nearly 3 years of political analysis and charity programs. We've clocked 100,000 subscribers. President of the Republic of Kenya, William Ruto, for the last 2 days has been spending time in the northeastern Kenya. And in this podcast, I want us to look at the two policy, or rather the two maybe statements that the president has made there. And in this podcast, we're going to do something different, but something we really love most, something called fact-checking analysis. I want us to look through the president's lips and find out whether what he's saying in Mandera is factual and is really happening there. And of course, this year, we'll try, because we know the political class are back in the campaign trail, it will be very important to fact check several statements so that Wajir can really make the right decision. The president, while in Mandera, made a promise that the government, his government, is going to spend 100 billion to construct the 850 kilometer stretch between Isiolo to Mandera, and he made it in this statement.
Na mimi nimekuja hapa Mandera leo, hii Northern Kenya, niwatangazie mchana mapema ya kwamba serikali ya Kenya itajenga ile barabara kutoka kule Isiolo mpaka hapa Mandera, kilomita 750, na kuweka lami ndio tuunganishe sehemu hii na Kenya ile ingine. Tuache ubaguzi, tuache mambo ya kutenga watu wengine, tuungane tuwe kitu kimoja. Tumeunganisha pesa ya World Bank, tumeongeza pesa ya African Development Bank, tumeunganisha pesa ya Arab Banks, tumeunganiza pesa ya serikali ya Kenya, shilingi bilioni 100 kutengeneza hiyo barabara
ambaye umesema utafanya. Barabara kutoka Isiolo kupitia Modogash kuja hapa Swain, kupita Wajir, Kutulo mpaka Mandera Ramu. Hiyo barabara ambaye serikali zote mbeleni hawakufanya, sisi tunakushukuru.
And Aden Duale is making that project look like something new that has just been done by Kenya Kwanza administration. And of course, while speaking in that event, intentionally, they had to create an impression that this is a project that William Ruto has initiated. Our fact check have found this article back in 2020. And in that 2020, if you read this article, it was done in February, actually more than 4, no, we are in 2025, more than 5 years ago, February 4th, 2020. Building plans for 85 billion Isiolo Mandera Road on the home stretch. This project, contrary to what Duale is saying, this project was started in 2019 when Uhuru Kenyatta was the president of Republic of Kenya. And in fact, according to this article, contrary to what the president is saying, the brief details that the length of each, it was supposed to be 748 kilometers from Isiolo to Mandera. Now, President Ruto has also mentioned several roads there, and he's saying different stretches from where to where contractor is there, and of course now he's saying it's been divided into 4. It is also true that World Bank, Arabic banks, and African Development Bank and the government of Kenya are the key financiers of that. However, in 2020, the cost was supposed to be 85 billion. In 2025, the president talking about 100 billion. you can look at that disparity. But then, is it true that all those roads the contractors are working? No. When you fact check, you will find out this, and I want us to get that article. I want us to get what I've really captured there. When you fact check about the state of that road, and this is something you can actually Google. When you Google the state of Mandera, the state of Isiolo Mandera Road, you will encounter these challenges. The most difficult sections of the road, Modogashe Samatar and Ramu Mandera, have faced several challenges and are not currently being upgraded. Why? The government has not provided the funds to compensate project affected person pumps for Isiolo Modogashe section of the road. So even as he says, it means amongst all those, the government of Kenya have not did their best part of the bargain. So what is the fact check about this story? The truth position about that story is that it was not started by Kenya Kwanza. It was started by Uhuru Kenyatta regime, and of course it dragged, and it's not something that is new. And let me tell you, the president has been in that area for 2 days. Show me any video where he has gone to that place. Any of, he's mentioned 7. Haizienda kwa moja, awaonyeshe something going on. The second bit is this story, the pledge about removing, the pledge about the policy on scrapping vetting for those seeking IDs in the northeastern part of the country. I want us to look at these two videos. The president had even to sign it publicly in some public rally. A very trivial act. Look at this.
Your Excellency, leo ni historia katika nchi ya Kenya. Mambo ambayo hayati Kenyatta hakufanya, Mzee Moi hakufanya, Rais Kibaki hakufanya, na rafiki yangu Uhuru Kenyatta hakufanya. Wewe leo umeweka sahihi ya kusema ubaguzi wa rangi, wa dini, wa kabila, ya mtoto Msomali, mtoto Mborana, mtoto Masai, wale wanaishi mpakani, wanaambia wapitie vetting. Leo Mheshimiwa William Ruto, sisi kama viongozi, sisi kama jamii, sisi hatukuona hii ni kama umetupa uhuru ya kwanza katika hii nchi.
So that is a policy statement. You know, that is a public policy statement being signed there in public. I'm very sure that that is not the right document, but they've just managed something for the act of signing just to try. And of course, what level of desperation to legitimize? You know, you've said, the president have always been saying, and people don't believe, there is a trust deficit. So you need to go and play that script in front of the masses so that people believe you. Now Duale has politicized it, saying that is the first, it is that one for the first time that is happening across all those administration. But what Duale is not saying that in 2013, if I'm not wrong, when there was that Dusit attack between 2013 and 2014, where there was the wave of terrorist attacks in the northeastern part of the country, that is when this matter was really heightened. Of course, it was really made very rigid. The vetting was introduced to try to suppress the illicit men and women who are getting into the country. Now, I want to show you something. Look at a tweet by Dennis Itumbi. Dennis Itumbi made a tweet about the numbers, and And I would want us to look at this tweet. A random fact: Mandera population 943k, Nyeri 844k, Kirinyaga 658k, Nyandarua 638k, Embu 608k. That is post-census suppression. Fertility rate: Mandera 7.7 kids per woman, Nyeri 3.1, Kirinyaga 2.8, Nyandarua 3.6, Embu 3.1. Mandera can marry 4, but just saying. So what were they leading to? They were trying to say something that the 6 counties of the northeastern side are probably more populated, are highly populated compared to Mount Kenya. And so when you talk about the numbers are more in the northeastern stretch. Now, this published pronouncement, I want us to fact check something. Dwell is terming it discriminatory, while the truth is this was a public policy that was made in the wake of terrorist attacks that were in that region. So in 2023, PS Bitok of Immigration was actually convened a meeting with leaders drawn from the northeastern region, and they raised some pertinent questions about it. But the PS spoke about 2 things: that public participation needed to be done, and number 2, that they need to set up immigration offices in that area before such lifting is done. Listen to PS here.
But we can't even not walk, let alone driving within the streets of Garissa town.
Some of the suggestions that were given, like getting a team to identify people at some locational level or at village level, I think this is very noble. This is very noble. So that by the time the documents leave at the grassroots level, then the rest is, as my commissioner here said, is to process.
We are trying to engage to get a proper roadmap that the day it's announced, all the systems, all the machinery will be on the ground to ensure that that policy position, that policy shift will have been engaged. You know, our constitution says that for every issue which is very sensitive like this, public participation is very important. So for us, I think Honorable Russell, you have captured some of the very critical issues.
Now, what does this show you? This will clearly show you that the president's policy pronouncement about lifting ID vetting in Northeastern is that there is no evidence that is informed by any ministry research, ministry finding, or public participation. And of course, I tend to look at it this way. Even as it is that is made to allow many people to have the IDs and they can access government services, lifting of the vetting is not going to be effective if immigration offices are not set up there. Of course. If the immigration offices are not set up there. Number 2, the president is silent even as we make that pronouncement, but the president is a bit silent on porosity of our Somalia border, because this is the borders that have been abused. But of course, I'm told that pronouncement is supposed to help border counties, so both Bungoma, probably Busia, and then those ones that border Somalia and probably even Tanzania. So that will be Gori, probably. So in real sense, if you look at this is supposed to pull up some numbers. And in Mandera, while it's doing all this, I've fact-checked that, and you will realize that some of those decisions are a bit half-baked and some are not really the factual thing on ground. Ruto met Mandera leaders in the Monday evening, and in, speaking with some arrogance, but of course portraying confidence on 2027 re-election.
The problem is not the citizens of Kenya. The problem is the leadership. Na kwa sababu kiongozi badala ya kwenda kuongoza, anaenda kutafuta kura. How can you look for votes forever? Wachaneni na maneno ya 2027 for now. For now, tupange hii kazi ya wananchi. That is my mission. Kumalizana na transformation ya Kenya ambayo imechelewa. Hii transformation ya Kenya imecheleweshwa na uongozi. The problem is not the citizens of Kenya. The problem is the leadership. Na kwa sababu kiongozi badala ya kwenda kuongoza, anaenda kutafuta kura. How can you look for votes forever? Everything unafanya unachunga tu kutafuta kura. What is this? For now, I am a leader of Kenya and I am going to lead. 2027 tutakuwa sisi wote wanasiasa, tutakutana kwa kiwanja. There is a difference between leadership and politics.
You will realize that if you look at that statement, that is the highlight of the meeting with the Mandela leaders. With that, you will understand the mission in the Northeastern was actually a political mission and is on a campaign mission. The president denies early campaign, but all indications show you that things are not good. The two videos I've shown you where Duale is talking about this is the first time this thing is happening, about the IDs, the time Duale is talking about this is the first time Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto is doing this road. The people are not as excited as you would actually wish. Those two pronouncements have been packaged as, as new projects, as something new that has been delivered to the people in the Northeastern region. But in real sense, I'm not seeing the excitement of the people. So those are the only two things that the president went there to do. And I don't know whether we've spent all that money to go and tell those people, to go and tell the Northeastern fellows about it. But of course, it's part of the campaign. The president denies early campaigns, but serious indications show that Rigathi, Ruto and Kindiki are out to try to marshal the numbers. I'm seeing some three interpretations, and I feel that Northeastern mission is a political mission, and as to whether it's achieved is not really within my purview. I don't seem to see it. Ruto vetting of this, Ruto lifting of the ID vetting has some hidden agenda. And from what I see, looking at the tweet by Dennis Itumbi, they want to open it up, and probably the big game or at the end game is to make sure that they register many people in Northeastern, probably. And that is why someone can show you the numbers. They register many people in Northeastern so that these people turn up to vote. Now, people need to understand, it is not that really Mount Kenya is highly populated, but even if you do research, you will realize that Nyeri is less populated compared to my counties here. But the turnout, one thing that Mount Kenya knows is what is called turnout. Even the fellows in Mandera, in Wajir, in Garissa, in Marsabit, in those in the Isiolo, it is not that they don't register. It is always about the turnout. And the only question, while someone think the turnout of voting is how things have been done, and the leaders, they're trying to frame a narrative that because the president has built Road X, he has done the best for us, and we need to vote for him. It's part of mainstreaming people's thinking. But then you understand that it's always about people don't feel. I don't know. Will the president go to pick someone? But of course, he's tried to, clog them in the security sector. So probably that is one of the political tool he's putting there. How about the whole discussion about the census was doctored? The whole discussion about let's lift the ID vetting so that so many people can get the IDs. How about we do it one-sided, looking at how we marshal the numbers for the 2027 elections, but at the same time, we are opening a window that can be abused by people who can be the bad men from Somali who can get their way in the country. I'm just thinking. Ruto is running a populist policy pronouncements to excite the crowds because there seem not to be public participation. In fact, the parliament is going to resume. I'm waiting for probably a parliamentary committee to probably even host a CS Interior so that it sheds more light on that public pronouncement in Northeastern. What exactly is their end game and how are they going to manage? Because someone need to explain why then were we doing vetting? Was it just for the sake of it, why president can wake up one day and say, I'm now signing and now there will be no vetting? So, and again, this act of going to sign policy in front of the people, it's lowering the caliber of an executive order. The one-term narrative is shaking Ruto, and that is why it's back in the campaign trail. And that can really be, that you can really see from the statement he made while meeting Mandela leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my take. I will want us to look more into this, and you can also tell us some of the public pronouncements that have been made that will want us to fact check, especially in the campaign trail. That will be interesting. We used to do this in the run-up to 2022 general election. I think we will resume that. Thank you.